Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me in the comments. I'm still quite new to this whole going live thing. It always feels like I run into like a last minute tech difficulty every single time. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Tell me what cozy drink you're drinking. I am cozied up with my Sunday black coffee, as always. And yes, okay, cool. Stash of Wizard Trash. Love that name. Um, okay, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. It's a tad low. So, yeah, I that was one of the things I was trying to fix right before going live. Um, it's turned up all the way on my end, so I'm gonna have to like later figure this out. For now, I'm afraid you're just gonna have to pump up the volume on your device. I am sorry about that. Yeah, there's so many little things that you don't even think will be a thing until they become a thing. So I'm still learning. Um, Sack Geek Girl says she's drinking grape Gatorade. Nice. Morning yoga in Texas was brutal. Oh, I bet it's so hot down there. I could never. I also just can't really do yoga because it's my feet don't bend the way they're supposed to bend for yoga because they're like deformed. So, Unhappy Alien says, I love your videos. I love Dark Cottagecore. Thank you. And I do too. I'm really excited to do this live today because, as you could see in the title, we're going to elaborate a little bit on Art Nouveau because my recent Art Nouveau video did really well. You guys seem to really love the Art Nouveau subject matter, and I have plenty more to say about it. So, what I'm thinking is that for my lives going forward, at least for some of them, if a video seems to resonate with you and it does well, then I'm thinking these lives can dive deeper into whatever that subject matter is. So take dark cottagecore, for example. The next time I do dark cottagecore, maybe the following live will be more about dark cottagecore, because I cut so much out of my videos. And like I just cut a lot out for pacing because YouTube, any sort of media nowadays you have to account for shorter attention spans on the internet, and I also just like to keep the pacing. I like it to feel like it's moving along well, I guess. So for the sake of rhythm, I cut a lot out of my videos, and so I figure why not take these lives to just expand further and get to things that I didn't get into the video. Let me know in the chat. What do you think of that? And then here's another thing. So I'm just going to sort of talk through some like housekeeping, I guess. So there's that. And then I also want to add a little more variety to my lives. So I'm thinking that there will be a main topic, and then there will be like some other random things that I like want to show you. So I want it to be a little bit slightly more of a variety show. So I'm going to sort of dip into that a little bit. So we'll cover Art Nouveau, and then I'll show you some random things, and we'll just hang out. So let me know how that sounds. MSEK UK says, greetings from London. Oh, you're having a cup of tea. Nice. There's a segment in today's live that I have called Tea Time. So get ready for that. That'll be towards the end. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into my presentation, which if you have watched my past lives, that's kind of what I've been doing, is doing like a, grade A student presentation. So of course, when I'm talking about Art Nouveau, like an art history kind of subject, that is the perfect time to go like full student mode for this. So Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So here is the agenda for today. I'm going to show you some Art Nouveau inspiration videos. So, the first part of today, I just want to show you some reels that I found that are beautiful. So, if you loved my Art Nouveau video and you're just like hungry for more visual inspiration and examples of this amazing style, then we're going to go through some of those. And we're also going to expand upon Art Nouveau in relation to sad beige. So, I'm sure a lot of you have a similar frustration that I do, which is decor, especially like right now, and not just decor, fashion, like everything just feels very boring, and things are just not as beautiful as they used to be. And so I'm wondering if Art Nouveau or something like it is the cure for this sad beige. And when I say sad beige, I don't hate beige. I actually love beige. I think a beige room, when done well, can be really beautiful. But sad beige is something very specific. It is like generic, no personality. You'll see. We'll get there. So yeah, I wanted to explore that and sort of see like you know, what's going on here? What is going on in our society? Because I've said it before, like, whatever is happening in fashion, decor, any facet of the arts is indicative of what is going on in society. So I like to geek out about that kind of thing. So we will do that, sort of do an Art Nouveau versus sad beige comparison, compare and contrast. And then we'll do tea time, which is a segment that basically it'll just be things that I want to show you. Like I have an entire like gigantic folder in Instagram, like the saved folder of things that I've been saving for the past few months that I just want to show you, So like, when you like send friends a reel that they think they would like, I pretty much have a folder of those for you. And so, yeah, we'll end the stream and maybe every other stream going forward with a little tea time or coffee time in my case. And they're just going to be random, like beautiful, like it'll be beautiful things, it'll be funny things, mostly pertaining to decor, various aesthetics and all of that. So let me know what you think of that in the comments. Before we go forward, I'll just say hi to everyone real quick. Very happy Monday says, thanks for all of your deep dives into the niche styles. Shout out to Helo. Yes. Helo is asleep on the couch right now. She usually is like drawn to my voice when I start talking, which is when you see her pop up in my videos. But she is currently on a very comfy blanket, and I don't think she can be bothered. We'll see if she decides to, get ready for her close up. KN Apollo, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your screen names, by the way, or Napalo. Love Fleetwood Mac. I'm glad I had the chance to go to Fleetwood Mac on Front Street in Maui before the fire. Oh, wow. I am so glad you were able to do that. Oh, geez, that must have been horrible. But yeah, awesome that you saw Fleetwood Mac. I am wearing a Fleetwood Mac shirt right now, in case you didn't notice. And I specifically am wearing this because you'll see there's some Art Nouveau elements here. See the swirls? I mentioned in my last video that 60s psychedelia was very influenced by Art Nouveau. It was almost sort of its own little resurgence of Art Nouveau, and Fleetwood Mac was obviously part of that. Robert G says corporate cubicles are sad beige. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's the just sort of soulless, like almost like liminal space, like the backrooms version of style. So yeah, it's and there's a lot of it. Things are not being made, like buildings, for example. Art Nouveau buildings, and not just Art Nouveau, like Gothic buildings, like all these. We have such beautiful architecture that happened way back in the day, and now it's just sort of like builder grade boxes everywhere. So we're gonna explore that a little bit. All right, so let's dive in, and I'm gonna have to put my earbuds in. Okay, here we go. It's not moving. I'm gonna have to um hold on. I'm gonna have to quit, not quit, refresh my page. One sec. Canva does this. I don't know why. If it's like dormant for too long, it just kind of stops working. Okay.
Have you ever wondered what elvish design?
Oh, hold on.
Have you ever wondered what
Okay. So, like I said, this first part of this live will be sort of going over some really fun and beautiful Art Nouveau content, sort of react to it. And so this guy, I don't know if you've heard of. He's called the Super Graphics on Instagram. He just goes like aesthetic by aesthetic and just like lays them out and describes them and tells us what they are. And he of course did an Art Nouveau one. I definitely recommend you check him out. Everything that I will be showing you will be linked in the description. So yeah, give this guy a follow. If you guys love my aesthetic breakdowns, he does that in like short form content. So let's hear what he has to say about Art Nouveau.
elvish design would look like in real life? We got the organic shapes, the stained glass windows, of course the intricate craftsmanship, and every single doorway. Art Nouveau was an art form and architectural style that flourished from the 1890s until 1910 before it got replaced by the geometric and machine-inspired Art Deco. It had a philosophy of Gesamtkunstwerk, or in English, total work of art, as it tried to unify fine arts and applied arts to bring artistic design into all aspects of life. From furniture to graphic design, we see organic, natural forms inspired by vines, flowers, and women, called Jugendstil in Germany, Tiffany style in the US, and it went alongside the Gothic revival of the time. The most famous work in the style is probably Sagrada Familia by Antoni Gaudi, who took the organic ornamentation to new heights. Art Nouveau sought to free itself from the constraints of historic tradition and blend various arts and craft forms into a nature-embellished expression. Reoccurring colors are earthy shades of green, brown, pale pink, and lots of gold, often featuring hand lettering, plants and flowers, swans, butterflies and dragonflies, asymmetrical curved lines in swoopy S shapes, blended into women's hair and growing wildlife, in a dynamic reaction to the art, design, and architectural rules of the past. So the question is, why did we ever let this go? Is Narnia hiding behind all these doors? Or is this style no longer nouveau? Jumpstart your extended Lord of the Rings marathon and let me know what you think in the comments.
So that was just such a perfect little like condensed crash course into Art Nouveau. And I love that he too made the correlation to Rivendell in Lord of the Rings. That if you watch my Art Nouveau video, I made a very clear like correlation between the two. And that is one of the things that makes Rivendell in the movie so beautiful is the Art Nouveau influence. And it just makes sense because it's such a nature oriented style. Um, and I echo his sentiments. Why did we stop doing this? That's kind of the point of this whole live, I think, is like, why did we stop doing this? And I mean, we all kind of know it's really just money. Like at the simplest, most surface level, it's money. But we seem to have forgotten the importance of artistry. So, yeah, check out the this bar is like covering up the his name, but it's the super graphics on Instagram. His I love his little breakdowns. They're really cool. All right. So this one doesn't have sound because the music would probably get copyrighted. But look at this. This is artnouveau.europe on Instagram. And this is just a perfect sort of like slideshow of like, this is what Art Nouveau is. The stained glass windows. Let's start it again. The swirly ironwork, just decadence. I feel like that's what we're missing. Like we're missing decadence and beauty for beauty's sake. Beauty that like functions without function. Beauty that where its function is simply to make us feel good. I feel like we used to put pleasure at the forefront in our society, and I think a lot of people have sort of lost touch with the fact that like visual pleasure is important. Just simply seeing beautiful things is important. Do you agree? Like, let me know in the comments. Don't you think that just seeing, like, I mean, this is why we decorate, right? This is why we decorate our apartments or our homes. It's because it's fulfilling to be surrounded by beauty, not in a superficial sense, but in just a like creative sense, you know, creative expression, and making a home for ourselves, giving ourselves a sense of belonging. This is what makes us human, is are these works of art. So yeah, it's definitely, it's feeling like a lost arc, but I'm hoping we get a lost art rather, but I hope we get some kind of resurgence of our own, like our own version of Art Nouveau. Here's another one. Imagine it's 1905. Look at this ceiling. I've seen some people do some really beautiful things with their ceilings, like doing like beautiful florals. In fact, later in our tea time segment, I am going to one of the things I'm going to show you is this girl did a beautiful floral, not just floral wallpaper, but floral ceiling design. It it's stunning. So get ready for that. But this is what I'm talking about. It's just pure beauty. I forgot to make these videos loop, so I'm having to push play over and over again. But look at this. It's just, again, like decadent is the word that comes to mind. And also just quality wood. Like this was back when wood was actually like carved and there was craftsmanship. And like I would imagine that this wood is actually solid quality wood rather than, you know, the shit that we have to deal with these days. And here's another one, more stained glass, more beautiful woodwork, more floral. See, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Art Nouveau. Uh, all of these are in Europe. It was a very like Art Nouveau took place in the United States as well, but I feel like it was very much a European thing. And so you have all of these old buildings in France, in Spain, in Germany, Brussels, that just have these like pieces of history. Um, and it's just stunning.
Don't you dare renovate anything if you
Okay, so this is really fun. So this is a real estate agent in France, and he's going to take us through an apartment, a very Art Nouveau apartment. And so just get ready. This is really pretty.
buy this apartment. Welcome to one of Paris' most iconic hidden gem inside the legendary Castle Béranger, a masterpiece of Art Nouveau designed by Hector Guimard in 1898, the same architect behind the iconic Paris Métro Française. First, look at this courtyard. I've never seen anything like this in my life. It genuinely feels like stepping into a dream. The brickwork, the curved window, the iron details, everything here feels unreal. From the moment you enter, the dining room already sets the tone. Every detail here reflects Guimard's vision. Organic lines, original paint on the walls that bring the space to life, and this unique windows door shaped from another universe. A timeless antique fireplace anchors the space, and together with the dining area, the living room creates a rare open reception space in a historic Paris building. The kitchen sits slightly apart. The bedroom feels like a private retreat above Paris, and just beyond, the bathroom extends the same atmosphere of calm and refinement.
I mean, could you imagine living in a place like that? That would be my idea of paradise. All of those beautiful flourishes. Let me see if I can go back a little bit.
Hidden gem inside the legend.
Like this ironwork. This is like an iconic, you'll see a picture of this specific gate whenever you look up Art Nouveau, and it's just all the swirls. It's so romantic. I think that's another thing we've lost touch with is a sense of romance. Not like romance, it's the kind of, not the kind of romance with another person, but the kind of romance that is just, things that make you feel something. These are very romantic lines. There's more. It's the kind of romance where you know that there's more to life than just function, that beauty and flowing lines and creative expression are important. And yeah, this this would be incredible. Let me know in the comments or in the chat, would you live here? I personally would. Like if someone handed you like a plane ticket and said, okay, you're going to have to move to France and live in this apartment, would you? I would have a hard time with the big lifestyle change because I'm just so comfortable in Seattle and I am not good with change. But this, I would be tempted. If someone just gave me this apartment, I'd be like, okay, I'll uproot my life for this. Oh, yeah, so pretty. I can't even imagine. Oh, and I love the mirror detailing. So stunning.
Don't you dare renovate any.
And I agree, don't you dare renovate. That would be crazy. It would be an insult, frankly.
Let's talk arches.
Okay, so this girl did something really cool, as you can see. And you'll see, she did this. She like DIY'd this Art Nouveau archway. So let's watch her describe it.
I was always really inspired by the Art Nouveau movement in Spain and Paris and Prague, and I took a lot of inspiration from that to do this archway. I took a lot of pictures from different archways in Prague specifically, and then I combined them all on my computer into one image with all these different elements that I liked out of them. I then used a projector to project it onto the wall from across the room, and then I painted it by hand while I was drunk. And
I totally stepped on her joke just now, but I wanted to highlight her, the way she did this. I've talked about this in a previous video a long time ago, but the idea of using a projector to paint something on the wall. So you can literally just trace it, like create the work that you want to paint on the wall, the design, and put it in a projector and project it on the wall, and then just literally trace it. it's brilliant. It's a brilliant way to do it, because I could never just freehand something like that. That's just not within my skill set. I wish I were like a visual artist, like a painter, but alas, that is one artistic skill that I am lacking. Go back.
And then I painted it by hand while I was drunk and watching Love is Blind. I found these incredible
As one
corbels
does.
online, and I painted them gold and then stuck them up here with command hook adhesive. And I got these candlestick holders off of the Buy Nothing group in my neighborhood. I cut the vines out from sheer curtains that had vines on them, and then I went in and I attached golden beads to the base of them so that they wouldn't just fly up anytime somebody walked through. And that's pretty much it for this archway, so I hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely brilliant and so detailed, like these little corbels right here. I mean, she didn't just paint something. She created like sort of a three-dimensional archway situation where she interacts with it. She walks through the vine curtain thing and even attached beads on it to weigh them down. That it's so inspired. I love it. Okay, this is a two-parter. So we'll watch this reel and then there's a second part. So this is a guy who is making a TV frame, basically, in the style of Art Nouveau for his young daughter. And this is, again, it's more DIY that is just done by really talented people. This is something I can't offer you on my channel because I don't do shit like this. I am not a DIY person. I wish I were, because I mean, those are popular videos, to be frank, you know. But I'm not a DIY person. I don't build things. I'm just not capable enough. I can barely get through the day unscathed, let alone giving me power tools. So I'm glad that my lives can be a place where I can show you the things that you will not see on my channel for my own deficiencies. Oh yeah, and this is a one that had music, so I muted it, unfortunately. But just watch what he's doing. And you can already see that this is it has the swirls of Art Nouveau, and he's nailing that. I mean, and I love that he's shooting it in the woods. It just creates like more of a, like, that sense of fantasy, that fairy tale vibe that Art Nouveau definitely captures. And then he chose to put Labyrinth on the screen. I mean, it's almost like he knows us personally, right? So again, this is for his daughter. And now we're going to see what this looks like in the completed room. And this room is just adorable. Dad of the year, what this guy did for his daughter, just, you'll see. It's so pretty. It's such a little fairy tale space.
Here she is. 5 weeks worth of work. All custom pieces in Coda's room, including this vanity. Check out how this vanity opens. Ooh. Ooh, I gotta buy all the organizers and shit for it. That's still happening. These custom lights. They're pretty sick. There's lace curtain, Art Nouveau headboard. Still gotta find sheets because the 6-foot circle bed is not. I'm gonna have to get those custom made. And then this was her thing. She desperately wanted one of these little silk hanger jobs. I was like, where the hell are we gonna put it, dude? This was the only location, but after it's up, I kind of like the way it looks. Went with some kind of pearlescent paint on the walls and the ceiling. That's kind of fun. It was a pain in the ass. It needed like 20 coats. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. That's it, dude. Daddy's beat. I gotta get back to real work because I didn't make any money on this. I just was working for weeks on end. But she's gonna like it, so what are you gonna do, you know?
Oh my God, I love it. like I said, dad of the year. And I love that he's being such a dude about it this whole time. He's walking through this dainty, pretty princess room, and he's he's still such a dude about it. I love it. This is what masculinity is, by the way. A man who can create a pretty pink princess room for his daughter. That is what we're aiming for, people. This is what I expect of men nowadays. Maybe not the carpentry skills. That's I it's a big ask, but the willingness to lean into femininity like this. This is, you love to see it, right? um, Kite Teresa says he needs a store. I would buy from him. Totally, right? I wonder if he has a store. Again, everyone I'm featuring in this live is linked in the description, so you can check him out. Maybe he does sell things. Maybe he has an Etsy shop. I don't know. I just saw this one reel of his. This weird thing is happening where it keeps opening YouTube and it's getting in the way of my. This is weird. I'm gonna close that for now. Okay. Okay, so those were the Art Nouveau reels that just didn't make it into my Art Nouveau video that I wanted to show you. And God, I honestly could have gone on. I could have included like 20 more of these, but I can't spend like 5 hours just watching Art Nouveau with you. Although maybe I should. Let me know if that would be fun. So yeah. That is Art Nouveau. Beautiful swirling lines, romance, fairy tale vibes, and beauty for beauty's sake. And that was happening over 100 years ago. And flash forward to now, meanwhile, here we are. And it's a different landscape. So in contrast to Art Nouveau, let's try to figure out this sad beige thing that's been going on. So this is a video by Funky Frog Bait. She's really funny, or they're really funny. I'm not sure what their pronouns are, but let's give this a watch. I'm gonna have to do this. Okay, so they're gonna give us a rundown of not really a rundown, but it's going to be a comedic look at what I'm talking about, specifically pertaining to sad beige moms. And then after we watch this segment of her video, I'm going to sort of try to get to the bottom of this phenomenon.
See the spots of color poking out here and there. And then there's people like this who literally throw away all their kids' toys and force them to cosplay as pilgrims for the internet. Somebody get this poor child a Skittle. She has years of Red 40 to catch up on. Sad Beige Mom posts inspire other sad beige moms. Companies have noticed the increased demand for Pinterest perfect toys, and they are happy to supply.
Whoops.
Prudence, chastity.
Sorry, you guys, hold on. My windows are going all over the place here. All right. Oh my God. You guys are probably screaming at the screen right now. There we go. Oh my God. All right. Back to Funky Frog Bait.
You may select one wicked implement, but no more than that, lest the devil overshadow your heart with a sin of covetousness.
Yes, Papa.
They are colorless, lest you forget how colorless the world be without the grace of our Lord Father God. Amen.
Amen.
There is an entire beige economy with endless amounts of retailers offering desaturated toys at discounted prices. Whoa. Okay. Never mind. A creator that goes by That Sad Beige Lady on TikTok has a popular series where she goes to these sad beige websites and shows the incredibly depressing clothes and toys they sell, often at outrageously high prices. I am fascinated by the concept of this new trend of minimalism being an attempt by the middle class to gain proximity to wealth without actually making more money. I know. Where is this video going? Let me rant for a second. You can see extreme forms of colorless minimalism in the houses of many celebrities, for example, Kim Kardashian, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these sad beige moms were influenced by these heavily doctored glimpses into the unobtainable, aesthetically pleasing life of the super rich. A sort of pay more for less so you can feel like you have more kind of thing. A lot of sad beige moms seem to have this weird us versus the world martyr mentality and can be very hostile towards anyone who tries to give suggestions. The two main arguments they tend to fall back on whenever they're called out is one, that the kids don't care, and two, that bright colors are actually harmfully overstimulating. But what do the experts say? I was able to find a really great article written by Nehul Agarwal that summarized the findings of pediatricians and psychologists on this issue. The article states that colors are very important for early cognitive and visual development. Having a lot of colors in an environment for babies to learn and recognize is also really good for language and emotional development. The article did actually address concerns about overstimulation, citing a study from 2016 that did indicate that too colorful of a play area could be disruptive, but it still makes it very clear that having primary colored toys is important for visual stimulation. The article also cites Dr. Jody LaVos as saying that while beige colored toys aren't necessary.
So I recommend you watch Funky Frog Bait's full video on this. It's really funny. Again, linked in the description. But basically, what she's getting at is we have this kind of trend of sad beige moms, and they're actually like, they embrace the title. They refer to themselves as sad beige, which is really interesting. And like, what does this say? Why are we, or not we, why are some of us gravitating not just to beige, because again, a beige room, when done well, can be really beautiful. It can be layered, it can be cozy, it can be personal still. So beige as a color is not the problem. The issue is sad beige, which is all about sort of stripping away everything that is personal about you and your decor. And like when it comes to sad beige moms in particular, it's you're taking away colors from your kids for the sake of this sort of almost anemic style, just this sort of sad, bloodless, just empty style, kind of like, like one of you mentioned earlier, cubicles. It kind of conjures up the sad cubicle, just liminal space vibe. So what is going on here is the question. So something that is mentioned in that video is the idea of these sad beige moms rebelling against color, basically. Rebelling against not just color, but from the idea that they no longer have an identity as a woman because they're now moms. Their identity becomes like usurped by motherhood. And not that I know anything about being a mom, but something that I've picked up on is that a lot of women just sort of feel like they lose themselves. And so maybe this sad beige mom phenomenon is a sort of rebellion against childish colors, childish decor. Instead of giving your house over to primary colors and, big blocks and toys and the whimsy, it's kind of a way of maintaining your identity amidst being a mom, if that makes sense. And then we can also apply this to like the, a larger, in a larger sense, not just to moms who are doing the sad beige mom things, but to us as a society. Like, this is not just a sad beige mom thing. Helo is now on my lap and messing with my earbud wires. Okay. So yeah, is this a rebellion of sorts? Like, for the sad beige mom, maybe the sad beige aesthetic is an act of rebellion against what is expected of mothers, which is for her identity to disappear into her kids. So maybe this is a pendulum swing from, a mom, of course, as it should be, becomes so absorbed in her kids, but then kind of loses herself. So maybe this is like a manifestation of that. At the same time, Art Nouveau was an act of rebellion too, but it was also an act of indulgence. And I think that's the key difference. You know, every trend is an act of rebellion against something. It's a response. Every trend, every aesthetic, every art movement is a response to something. And the sad beige is the opposite of indulgence. It's depriving yourself of something. And whereas Art Nouveau was indulging in beauty, in flowing lines, in color, in just decadence. So it's interesting. We have like different types of rebellion here, and one is depriving you of something, and then the other, Art Nouveau, is indulging in something. Like, this is indulgence. This Art Nouveau, like I said in my Art Nouveau video that I posted a couple weeks ago, Art Nouveau was rebelling against what was happening with the Industrial Revolution. You know, it was basically the world was becoming overrun with like machines and steam and smoke, railways, factories, and Art Nouveau emerged as a response to that, as a way to ground us in nature and remind us that beauty for beauty's sake is worthwhile and important. And as you can see, this style is sumptuous, it's indulgent, it's full of life, you know? Whereas the sad beige aesthetic it's like the opposite of that. It is a deprivation of life. It is a removal of spirit. It's there's Helo. You see her little paws. She's like, stop talking about Art Nouveau so much, mother. But yeah, so that's kind of, I think, one of the key differences is what we're going through right now as a society. Seems to be about the removal of something rather than the addition of something, the removal of spirit rather than the indulgence in spirit. So in an attempt to rebel and maintain some sense of identity, the beige mom is ultimately doing the opposite. Her style is one of conformity, aesthetic anemia. It's interesting because rebellion is supposed to be just that, a rebellion. But this style, the sad beige style, is actually one of conformity. And just like I said, aesthetic anemia and deprivation. Sad beige feels like it's about depriving us of something, withholding ourselves from something rather than indulging in it. We're in an era of deprivation. Depriving ourselves of indulgence is celebrated as discipline, purity, and righteousness, like a bunch of Moda martyrs. It's like, since when did martyrdom and self-sacrifice become stylish? It's interesting. The whole, my channel is called Moda Misfit because it's about celebrating yourself as a misfit, aka an individual, and figuring out your individual style and indulging in it, in doing things that make you feel good, not depriving yourself of things. It's Moda Misfit means style through individuality. The person is the center. And it feels like Sad Beige is more about self-sacrifice. It's about almost like dying on the sword of self-restraint. Whereas Moda Misfit is all about giving into the pleasures of beauty and just the fact that creating a home for yourself feels good. Fashion is boring. Decor is cheap these days. Gas is expensive. The girls are shrinking. And the boys have microphones. This is our society today. This is what's happening in the zeitgeist. Say it with me. Trends are trauma responses. That's what Art Nouveau was. It was a response to a world that was changing very rapidly. And again, I'm going to keep driving this home. It was a response that felt good, whereas it feels like our aesthetic response today to our trauma of today doesn't feel good. It feels restrictive. At least Art Nouveau was fun, you know? At least Art Nouveau was fun about it. Our, like, whatever movement is happening right now, if you can even call it that, is just not really fun. It's quite boring. Like I said, Art Nouveau came out of the Industrial Revolution. Look how pretty. Like, it's very obvious that this is very pretty. We also have the trauma of, you know, women not having rights for so long. And then women's suffrage happened, and the flapper was a result largely of that. And so, see what I mean? It's like times of upheaval and sort of the societal trauma gives way to trends. Same thing in the 60s. You had the Vietnam War. We had civil rights movement. It was another very tumultuous time. And what came out of that was rock and roll and a very like strong counterculture. And again, coolness. Like, what happened to coolness is what I'm wondering. Because right now, our current, you know, social upheaval is producing this. This is what the kids are wearing nowadays, you know? It's all about conformity right now. It's all about adhering to a norm rather than true creative expression.
Let me get this right. Out of anything you could have brought back from the early...
So this is a reel that I'm gonna play you, and I think she has a very interesting take on what I'm talking about.
2000s, y'all picked gauchos and purity culture. You could have brought back these MacBooks, these phones, kudos bars, but no. You decided, you know who has some good ideas? The Puritans. They have a solid track record of good judgment. I'm sorry, this is so upsetting to millennials because we worked so hard to defeat this monster. Look, I am a retired freakazoid. I'm monogamous. I'm married. My husband and I go to bed at 10 p.m. after we've had our sleepy time tea. But I will go into my storage bins, find my old Hot Topic outfits, and go outside and make bad choices. If that's what it takes to defeat the no fun Godzilla again. We all contorted ourselves into so many wrong positions to bury this freaking demon book in the ground. Like, I agree, hookup culture has got some massive problems to it. What you all are tapping into is an ancient evil. So millennials, I'm sorry, I know your back hurts, but you gotta get some stretching done. We gotta go back out into the streets with our fishnet internet tops, and not allow Death Star 2.0 to gain more power. Figure out a way to contribute, put on a corset, hand out Gatorade, I don't know, get creative. We all have our part to play, and do. So millennials, take your aspirin, put Lost on in the background to like set the mood, and go be weird. The world needs you to activate those neck muscles again. Go too!
Go be weird. I loved this, and I feel like it all comes down to go be weird. Like, what happened to weird? You know? And I love the way she opened this video.
Let me get this right.
I want to make sure this lands with you.
Let me get this right. Out of anything you could have brought back from the early 2000s, y'all picked gauchos and purity culture. You could have brought...
It's just so fascinating where we are right now, because of course historically the youths are the ones who decide what's cool and decide what is in the zeitgeist, and what they're bringing back are like the worst millennial style things, like gauchos and like low-rise jeans and purity culture. Like, you guys are supposed to be the ones who are bringing cool things to society, like a fresh new type of coolness. Shout out to Gen Z if you happen to be watching this. Let me know in the comments if any of you are Gen Z, and let me know your take on this. I would be very curious if anyone is in that age range and has thoughts about this. By the way, I'm going to be looking at my phone now because I was having those window issues. And so I can't see the comments because of that. So I'm looking at your comments on this. So if I'm looking down, that's why. So yeah, I feel like she's kind of nailing the point I'm making. We can be cooler than this. Don't you think? I feel like every time a trend or art movement has arisen from some kind of turmoil, some kind of societal turmoil, what emerged in response artistically was usually very cool. Where's the like cool, interesting, weird shit, you know? What happened to weirdness? What happened to beauty for beauty's sake? What happened to indulgence? What happened to coherent art movements and subcultures? If I'm missing something, let me know in the chat. I mean, again, I know that there are things happening out there, but you know what? I'll get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But, you know, houses used to look like this pink one. We had Stevie Nicks and so many women at her time, like in the 60s and 70s, looking like this, being weird, being witchy, being rebellious. Again, Art Nouveau. We have like the goth subcultures. And then I had to highlight my girl, Mary-Kate Olsen, who to this day is one of my personal style icons. And to me, she represents like the millennial, like when us millennials were in our 20s. Mary-Kate and Ashley were like, they had such an impact on how we were all dressing, especially me, because they had that whole like boho kind of indie sleaze kind of style, which I love to this day. And so I don't really see anybody doing like interesting, weird things. Back in my day, you know, when I was in my 20s, we had examples like Mary-Kate here of just like cool style, you know? So I'm just left wondering like, what is going on?
What happened to subcultures? We used to have goths, punks, ravers, metalheads, emos and nerds. And now we have clean girls, looks maxing, and quiet luxury, which is essentially whatever shade of beige is trending this week. So let's talk about it. The usual explanation is that we are living through unusually difficult times where everything is expensive, everything is polarized, and everyone's just exhausted. And apparently no one has the energy to build a counterculture when they are living on Afterpay and the media is spruiking an impending apocalypse every.
And I think this is a key component is we're all exhausted. And we're all traumatized from like, you know, I know what I'm talking about is largely how trauma informs trends and art movements. But we have like a very specific trauma that we're all still recovering from, which is COVID. That was only 6 years ago. I don't know about you, but my life has not been the same. My life is completely different post COVID. And I think that, especially for the younger generations who had to live their formative years inside, you know, a good chunk of their teens and 20s had to be spent cooped up, and they couldn't do the things that, you know, I got to do. And I think that had to have been very stifling for them. And so I think that's one explanation for what's going on. So yeah, let's keep watching this. I love her take on like what happened to subcultures, what is going on.
Day. Hard Times, we are told, produces Beige. But before you accept that, let me introduce you to some of the great cultural philosophers of the year 2000. Limp Bizkit. The difference is that the broken world of the 2000s produced a scream. The identical broken world today produces this beige aesthetic. New metal came from young people constantly told that they had never had it better, whilst growing up inside fractured families, suburban boredom, bullying, absent fathers, and the strange emptiness of being surrounded by things without ever feeling connected to anything. Korn, Linkin Park, System of a Down, and Limp Bizkit gave that incoherent misery a physical form. The guitars sounded like machinery breaking down, the clothes rejected polish, and the mosh pit turned private frustration into a public ritual. For a few hours, thousands of lonely and furious teenagers discovered that their supposedly personal defects were actually shared by everyone else screaming beside them. That is how a subculture begins, not with the aesthetic first, but with recognition of each other's pain. Of course, it was commercialized, but underneath the marketing, there was a genuine wound there, and we're just as wounded today. We've just simply been taught to brand it and monetize it instead. Byung-Chul Han argues that the old world of authority and prohibition, the world of you must, has been replaced by an achievement culture that endlessly whispers that you can be anything, optimize yourself, express yourself, and when you remain unhappy despite all that freedom, there's no institution or parent or establishment left to blame. You become both the prisoner and the prison guard, endlessly disciplining yourself for failing to flourish. So the anger that once went outward.
I want to highlight that. Constantly disciplining yourself. This ties into what I'm talking about, this sort of deprivation culture. We are depriving ourselves of fun, of weirdness, of self-expression. It's again, it's just deprivation. That's the only word I can think of. It's like what seems to be valued right now is discipline, restraint, holding yourself back, not being your true self. Whereas in the past, it was, you know, at least for subcultures, I mean, there's always been conformity culture, of course, but subcultures were all about pushing back on the norm. And here we are. I feel like subcultures exist, but it's not hitting the same way.
Has collapsed inward, returning as anxiety, exhaustion, and self-surveillance. That is why this whole beige trend matters. It is not a color preference. It's just the aesthetic of a generation trying to remove friction from a life in which every surface, including the self, is another project yet to be managed. Subcultures didn't disappear because life got hard. They disappeared because the distress actually became the product, and nothing is allowed to stay strange long enough for lonely people to find each other and connect over it. Aesthetics can be purchased off Temu or Shein, but a subculture has to change your life, and you gotta feel it. And unfortunately, we're not feeling things these days.
I think she pretty much nailed it, at least a piece of it. We're all kind of, I feel like, numbing ourselves. I'm guilty of this. Like sometimes I'm just completely disassociated, you know? And yeah, so we're in this interesting time. We're in our own hard times, but our particular hard times are producing beige without the subculture, or at least without the subcultures being very loud. You know, hard times are nothing new, but social media is. And I think that along with COVID being, you know, in our recent history, social media is a huge piece, a huge reason why this is happening. Again, hard times are nothing new, but social media is. And we're all just like Sailor Moon right now, just in a constant state of just like, you know, spiraling eyes and being a fire hosed with content. So it's kind of like, how can distinct trends and art movements have their moment when everything is moving so fast? I think that's a really big part of it. Hard times killed Art Nouveau. World War One. The whole reason why Art Nouveau, fell out of vogue was because World War One, of course, made it so that resources were more scarce. People were going off to fight in the war, so like the workforce was diminished. This is, again, hard times are nothing new. But the thing is after Art Nouveau faded away, it wasn't long before we got Art Deco. Art Deco came in pretty, relatively quickly. And the reason being because Art Deco, with its geometry, with all of these geometric lines, straight lines, simple circles, diamond shapes, triangles, these are all easy to replicate at scale. It's easier to use machines and mass produce when you're producing geometric lines and figures. So it wasn't as expensive to do Art Nouveau or Art Deco as it was to do Art Nouveau, which required, top craftsmanship and, creating these, swirly lines. Like, swirly lines are the kinds of things you have to do by hand, whereas geometric lines can be done by a machine. So again, my point here is that, Art Nouveau faded away because of hard times, World War One, but very quickly we got another amazing art movement in its place. So here we are in our hard times, and what's happening for us. Our hard times are producing a different kind of response, and it's the sad beige aesthetic. And it's not only sad and beige, but it's also hyper self-conscious, hyper self-aware, to the point of, right down to the constant surveilling of ourselves, the constant taking of selfies, the constant, feeling like you have eyes on you at all times. And in turn, documenting your own life and posting it on social media. So it's just interesting that these very new types of technology, instead of empowering us, seem to be watering us down. And again, a huge part of this is not only social media, but the surveillance and basically this sort of pseudo surveillance state that we're living in, just simply by our own doing, just simply, having our phones around, being able to capture every moment, and also capture other people. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. Younger generations are typically fun, but fun is messy, and fun can be cringe, which is Gen Z's worst nightmare, from what I understand, is being cringe. And the thing is when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I could be cringe and not have it be documented, I shudder to think what life would have been like in my 20s, in my messy 20s when I was running around New York. I shudder to think about what if everybody had phones. I was in my 20s right before, iPhones were kind of new still, so people weren't constantly recording. People weren't constantly, you didn't have to feel like you were looking over your shoulder all the time. A lot of these photos in here were taken with a digital camera, not a phone, And so it was just a whole different time. So if I put myself in the shoes of someone who's in their 20s right now, I wouldn't want to go out and have fun either. And unfortunately, not being able to have fun and get messy is very creatively, stifling. And it's that deprivation culture. Again, we're depriving ourselves of life right now because it's scary to live a messy life when basically cameras are constantly rolling everywhere. So I think that has a lot to do with the sad beige aesthetic. Of course, the fear of being cringe and having it posted on the internet manifests itself in personal style. Safety is prioritized over creativity when being surveilled. So I think that's a key part of why sad beige is such a thing, is I feel like safety, I feel like we're all in a state of survival mode right now. The world feels very scary, and all the while we are being surveilled by ourselves, by our peers, and by lots of other things. And so I feel like this sort of perfect storm of things has us prioritizing safety over creativity, hence sad beige. Sad beige is boring, but it's safe. And this has led to blandification.
Y'all, I'm choosing violence this afternoon.
So this reel is going to, this reel I'm about to show you perfectly embodies this blandification that our world has undergone. And get ready, this might be upsetting to some of you. All of you, I think.
Because I have just seen something so evil and dark-sided that the evil needs to be expelled. So here we have a Chester County farmhouse in southeastern Pennsylvania. Guess how much it's for sale for? $900,000. Let's see what this almost $1 million home looks like on the inside. This is your $1 million living room with your vinyl or laminate floors, which I know are probably covering some original pine floors. And of course, you have to have a lot of can lighting for some reason. In case you want to land a plane in your living room, there's a landing strip of lighting above your head. And for some reason, the transom window is now red, I guess to signal that a great evil resides in this house. In case you were wondering what the primary bedroom looks like in your 200-year-old historic farmhouse looks like, here it is. We got the most bottom of the barrel gray carpet with vacuum marks. Carpet is made of plastic, by the way, which emits VOCs into your environment that you breathe in for months to years on end. And of course, more recessed lighting so you can also land a plane in your bedroom. Do I even need to keep going at this point? I mean, you know, this kitchen outside of this home in this context, you know, it's fine, it's whatever. However, someone's paying $1 million for this in a home that is potentially as old as this country. I'm just gonna keep going, the world's on fire, let's just add some fuel to the flames. Why not? Here's your luxury $1 million bathroom. I'm going to keep re-emphasizing $1 million because...
Look at just, it is like sadness embodied. This is the physical manifestation of sadness. And to think that this is like a historic old farmhouse that probably looked so beautiful on the inside and maybe just needed some, you know, sprucing up. See, Helo's upset too. She's trying to comfort me. It was probably so beautiful on the inside. And imagine stripping away everything that makes something special and unique. And again, it goes back to this deprivation. We are depriving ourselves of things instead of indulging in them. And this is deprivation, like in room form.
This vanity is from Home Depot or Lowe's. Same laminate floors. How is it legal to resell a home for $1 million when you bought it for $400,000 and this is the work that you're putting in? Because I am not a real estate agent, but don't homes have to appraise for a certain value to make an offer? This has to be fraud. Somebody's a fraud. Okay, I'm done after this one, I promise. At least one of the original fireplaces is still there. I'm sure they didn't fix it or restore it to where it's actually usable, but at least it's still there for decoration. One thing I do want to point out, not the landing strip lighting, however, or again, the floors. But if you're going to install vinyl or laminate floors over the original hardwood or whatever, why are we not even using the same vinyl throughout the house? Why is the living room, the bathroom and this other room, why are they all different materials? They're not even being consistent here. And by the way, this was not like a boomer bought this home in 1982 and for $400,000. This was purchased like last year for $400,000, and now it's for sale for $1 million. So, yeah, enjoy.
I mean, this is what we've come to. It's just sad. Like, to bring it back to Art Nouveau, that was beautiful and joyous. It was responding to a time of upheaval and change, and it was being fun, joyous, and cool about it. And this is what we're doing in these tumultuous times that we're living in. And again, I can't help but think that it just is a safety, like a safety thing. People feel safe with beige, with the generic, with not creatively expressing yourself. So this is what's happening. Oh, I wanted to highlight this comment. I rebuke this in the name of my gay ancestors. Oh, right. I rebuke this in the name of my gay ancestors too. They would hate this. I saw one of you said that the ghosts are going to be livid. That's so true. If I were a ghost haunting this beautiful old farmhouse and they did this, I would haunt the shit out of them. I would haunt them harder than any other people who have lived in the home before. I would terrify them. I would make them live with what they've done. I would make them feel that regret. It was Stash of Wizard Trash saying, I'm sure the ghosts in there are livid. Yep. Yes. It's so depressing. And then this is a carousel that I came upon on Instagram. And this is going to show you in very stark contrast. Basically, this is the epitome of what we're talking about here. So the slow death of beauty in the world, just pretty much, I feel like the picture is worth a thousand words, and these tell us. I can't even put it. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. It's depressing. I mean, even something like a water fountain used to be beautiful. Nobody needed a water fountain to be beautiful, but they did it anyway because they had an appreciation for beauty. Now, there are other things at play here too. Like, I feel like they were just as greedy and like bad back then as, you know, the people in power are here in our time. But society invested in works of art. And I know a lot of it was about status. It wasn't purely, you know, just to make the world a better place. I'm not saying that, but it's just, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the pictures. They made water fountains beautiful. Something that is purely functional. And now this is what we're doing. You know, park benches. Look, speaking of Art Nouveau, some Art Nouveau swirlies right here. And now a soulless robot bench. We have like ornate, like real wood, craftsmanship, layers, moodiness. And then over here we have liminal space. I think this is one of the reasons why The Backrooms was such a great movie that resonated so much is I feel like just the aesthetic of the back rooms is, it kind of mirrors what our society is right now. Just we're surrounded by liminal space, nothingness. Again, Art Nouveau, the stained glass, floral details. I mean, right down to the floors. They didn't have to do these little shapes. There was no reason for them to put in that extra effort, but they did. Here, it's like, it's all about low effort, efficiency, cheapness, and doing the bare minimum to make the most profit. Balconies used to be beautiful. Banks, even banks, used to be beautiful. I mean, this is just dystopian. This is some like dystopian sci-fi movie shit. Mailboxes. Look at this. I would love to have this in my apartment. Like, this would just be such a beautiful piece of furniture. It's like this cute floral goth mailbox. And now we have HAL 9000 in mailbox form. Libraries. Libraries used to be beautiful romantic places, and they still are. I know that they still exist, especially in Europe, but libraries here in the United States, for the most part, look like this. I mean, this is an extreme example, but still. Fluorescent lighting, just nothingness. Just sad nothingness. Just, yeah. It is a shame, isn't it? And I wanted to highlight what this creator wrote, artworld.us. This portion right here, I wanted to read this aloud to you because I thought it was beautifully written and interesting. They say, perhaps the world has not lost its beauty. Perhaps it is we who have begun to treat beauty as though it were an unnecessary luxury. We removed the ornamentation, erased the marks of the past, replaced craftsmanship with disposable convenience, and called the emptiness modernity. And the saddest part is that by the time we finally realize everything that has disappeared, there may be no one left who remembers what it felt like to live surrounded by things created not only to be used, but also to be deeply felt. That's beautiful. And pretty much nailing the entire point of this video is exploring what this is, you know, treating beauty as an unnecessary luxury rather than an important thing that we need as humans. It's one of the things that separates us from animals, is our ability to create and make beautiful things, to express ourselves. And I love this last line: surrounded by things created not only to be used, but also to be deeply felt. We're just using things, and we're not feeling things, by and large. I think on an individual basis, it varies, of course, but I'm talking about like on a massive scale, us as a like collective society. We can't just use things. We need to feel things. And sad beige doesn't make us feel anything. And I don't know, it's like this mass dissociation that's happening. Maybe sad beige is just a phase. I mean, most things are. These, you know, the pendulum swings back and forth, and humans are stubbornly creative, I know. So maybe this is just a phase. Maybe we'll discover the healing effects of self-expression, indulgence, and beauty for beauty's sake. You know, we're prioritizing safety so much that sad beige is a thing because it's safe. But maybe we'll move past this and realize that there's safety in self-expression, indulgence, and beauty for beauty's sake. It's more risky. You might be cringe if you lean into these things. And it might not be safe, but it's healing. So maybe something will come along that allows us to discover that beauty for beauty's sake is healing. And maybe it'll come along like Art Nouveau did. They were going through a time of upheaval, and Art Nouveau came in and, you know, challenged what was happening. And it wasn't a beige response. It was actually a very colorful, you know, indulgent response. So, is Art Nouveau the cure for sad beige? I think that the spirit of Art Nouveau is, like, if we were to bottle the essence of what Art Nouveau embodied and achieved, then yes. But of course, it will be our own version of it. In a literal sense, Art Nouveau meaning new art. We need our new art. And I think what it can carry, whatever this new art of ours that will emerge, whatever that is, it needs to be indulgent. It needs to push back against this sad beige phenomenon. So, no, it won't be a copy paste Art Nouveau that's the cure for sad beige and all the other things going on in society that sad beige is emerging from. It won't be copy paste Art Nouveau, but it will be, whatever it is, it'll have the spirit of Art Nouveau. It'll be nature based. It'll be free and wild. And what it looks like, I don't know. But it might have some things, like some direct correlations visually to Art Nouveau. I wouldn't be surprised, like in the 60s. They straight up, like, just did Art Nouveau for concert posters in the 60s. Like, they were fully doing Art Nouveau. So we might do that too. And again, that Art Nouveau resurgence in the 60s, you know, that was a time of upheaval too, a time of trauma, societal trauma. So maybe Art Nouveau needs to come in and basically act as a coping mechanism. You know, maybe it's time for some version of Art Nouveau to come back to help us heal. Okay, now it's time for a palette cleanser. I'm going to check the comments right now before we move on to this next segment. I'm curious. Curious what you guys have to say. So I'm just going to pop into the chat again. Be creative weirdos again, said Kite Teresa. Yep. Uh-huh. Renee 83 says they make everything sterile and efficient for the masses, yet the elite hoard beautiful antiques, structures, art, etc. No, that's exactly true, Renee. I think that's definitely true. It's sort of like they get to have the beauty of the past, and then they remove the ladder from under them, and we're stuck with the, you know, shitty, efficient, non-creative stuff. Very Happy Monday says we won't see the sad beige ghosts because they will be camouflaged. Yeah, they won't even want to come out probably. They'll be like, we're going to move on to another house. This house has become too boring. Hello to my mom, by the way. She's Kathy Graffis in the comments. And she watches every single one of my videos and my lives. And so does my dad. I'm not sure if dad is on right now, but he's been here live. My parents are the best. So shout out to my parents. Very Happy Monday said messiness is inevitable, like cracking eggs to make an omelet. Young folks afraid to mess up might not realize they're afraid. That's the actual sadness. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there are plenty of, Gen Z people who are self-aware completely and understand what's happening. I think that the millennial generations and younger tend to be pretty self-reflective, maybe even self-absorbed. But I think we reflect on things a lot, and I'm sure a lot of Gen Z is too. But at the same time, I'm sure plenty of them genuinely like this aesthetic or think they do. Like, they see it online. They see, like, take the Kim Kardashian thing that someone mentioned earlier in one of the reels. Kim Kardashian started doing this beige thing, and it's like there will be plenty of people, there will be like the masses who just follow that blindly because they associate it with wealth. I think a lot of people just gravitate towards things because they signal wealth, whether they look good or not. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. So, okay. Now we're going to move on to the next segment, which is tea time. Everybody take a sip. I just drank that so weird. Not very dainty. So tea time is a segment that I want to do for my lives where we move on from the main topic and sort of do a palate cleanser. And this is like if we were sitting at high tea together and sharing the latest gossip, showing each other things that we love, things that inspire us. And these are just things that I think that you would enjoy. And like I said earlier, I save them to a folder in my Instagram. And I'm like, oh, I want to share this. I want to share this. And so here are a few of them. Okay. I wasn't able to embed the video, so I had to do it like this, but this is cute, don't you think? For tea time. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't able to embed the videos, so we're gonna be going to actual Instagram for this. Okay, so this first one, oh, okay. So I came across this and I knew that you guys would love this. Get ready. And I mentioned this earlier that I was going to show someone who did beautiful floral patterns not only on her walls but on her ceiling. This is what I was talking about. And this is not only just inspiring and beautiful, but it also embodies the spirit of Art Nouveau. It's not Art Nouveau specifically, but in terms of being nature inspired and super floral and super decadent, this definitely has that spirit. So let's watch.
Room I've ever created. I transformed my dressing room into a Victorian secret garden, a space that feels like stepping into a period drama, completely engulfed by nature. I chose Rebel Walls' floral chinoiserie wallpaper because it felt alive, as though the magnolia tree in my garden was slowly creeping in. Adding the wallpaper was easy, but there was one challenge. The slanted walls made it impossible for the pattern to meet seamlessly at the edges, so I rebuilt every flower using leftover wallpaper.
We need to, I need to make sure you understood what she just said because this is remarkable. She just, to deal with the slanted walls, she replicated the flowers and stuck them like you can see right here. And you're going to see she did the same with the ceiling. That is so clever. That is just so cool.
Carefully aligning each edge by hand.
See?
I even carried the pattern onto the ceiling, so it feels like the flowers are growing in from every crevice. I had a small budget, so I spent months hunting through thrift stores and scouring Facebook Marketplace to find the perfect antiques. A Victorian dresser, an antique vanity and display cabinet, a chase from the 1860s, and a late Victorian hand-painted gas lamp. And now it feels like I've stepped into a Pre-Raphaelite painting, a space that turns getting ready into something magical, and that's why. This might be the most whimsical room I've ever...
I just like died when I saw this. What a beautiful room. She mentioned that she was on a budget. I'd be curious what that was, because this shows you that you can do something grand like this on a budget. Again, I'm not sure what her budget is, and budget is in the eye of the beholder, but still, nonetheless, if she was on a budget, this shows that you really can do so much. And with like creativity and ingenuity, taking the flowers and sticking them basically and making it look like they were just painted on, but they were just stuck onto the ceiling and on that slanted part of the wall. It's just a little creativity, or a lot of creativity, can go a long way. So I thought you guys would love this. I wish I could have my comments up on the screen. It just kept malfunctioning. So I want to see what you guys are saying. Renee83 says, OMG, this is right up my alley. I need to follow her IG. Yes, definitely do. This reel is linked in the description, like everything else. Everything that I featured in this video is linked in the description. So I definitely recommend you check out every person that I've featured here, and you'll love her account. Her account is just, it's all like just as beautiful as this. So now for the next sip of tea. My fellow cat parents will love this one. Whoops.
Let's set up my roommate's bedroom.
I just realized that this music might get me claimed, so I am going to mute this. But I don't think he talks very much in this, and I just wanted you to see what he does. So let's watch this on mute. You can already kind of see where this is going. See what kind of a roommate he's talking about here. And also like genuinely chic, kind of a like mid-century modern thing going on. I wish that he showed his cat enjoying their new little room. Or maybe it's a puppy. I actually don't know. Might be a puppy. This person says, where is the puppy? I watched the whole video waiting to see him chilling on the bed. I want my money back. Kind of same. But I loved this. I love the idea of, I mean, this is whimsy. This is what I'm talking about. This is beauty for beauty's sake. This is doing something fun and whimsical, not because it is useful, not because it will get any like tangible results. It's just fun and whimsical and cute for a pet. This is what I'm talking about. And see, this is, it's so interesting because it's so multifaceted, because on one hand, we have this mass beigification going on, but at the same time, you have individuals, and social media, which is contributing to the mass beigification, is also highlighting the creativity of people. So it's just such a mishmash of things. And I think that's part of why we feel like the Sailor Moon gif that I showed you earlier with the spiraling eyes. It's just, we're taking in so much that it's hard to notice anything cohesive happening. So it's kind of like this patchwork of boring beige and then like glowing through the cracks are, you know, creative, really cool things happening too. It's a lot. All right, for the next sip of tea, this is funny. This one's a little long, but I think you guys will enjoy it. Let me know if you are a Michaels girly or boy or they in the comments. I'm not really, just because like I said earlier, I'm not really a DIY crafty person as much as I wish I was. But I do have love and appreciation for, you know, creative projects that you can find at Michaels. So this guy, you'll see.
Happening in the Michaels pitch rooms. Michael walks in. He goes, name a holiday between 4.
So it's kind of hard to for it to not get cut off in the beginning, because there's no progress bar. I can't like rewind. But basically, just so you know, he says this is like imagine this is a pitch room at Michaels headquarters, like corporate headquarters of Michaels, a pitch room.
4th of July and Halloween. Quickly, a girl at the back of the room, she raised her hand. She goes, Labor Day? Michael pushes a button in front of him. Trap door opens. She falls right into the ground. Michael goes, exactly. So what are we putting on the shelves between that time? Let's skip to the good stuff. It's Code Orange over at Michael from July 5th onward, okay? Give me ideas. What do you got? Someone goes, strangely, I was thinking disco. Michael goes, huh. Not usually something I think of when I think of Halloween. I'll hear you out. The designer goes, I think we could put disco tiles on Halloween items. Michael's like, honk shoe, done it before.
Honk shoe, done it before. Oh my God, I love this guy. By the way, if one of the reasons why I stop and pause videos is just for fair use purposes. I just want to make sure that I'm not just completely like bootlegging people's content. Again, you can follow them in the description, but I do need to provide commentary in order for this to, like, you know, be ethical use of other people's content. So I hope you don't get annoyed, but you know, again, this is linked in the description. You can always watch it all the way through. But I do have to comment on stuff.
How are we going to make it different this season? The person goes, well, what if we make it big? Michael's like, okay, how big we talking? I'd say big. Trick or treat, diva. Designer goes, what if it was a ghost? Michael's like, uh-huh, okay, what's special about the ghost? The designer goes, well, he is gay. Speaking of the gays, what do we got for them this season? The gays love Halloween. Michael loves the gays. The creative director behind the genius gay skeletons of last season, he stands up slowly. He goes, of course we have your run-of-the-mill rainbow pumpkins, but I wanted to go a little more abstractist this year. What if the gays have purse? An intern at the back of the room says, is that a purse or is that a planter? Michael scoffs. Silly little girl. Anything's a purse if you want it to be.
Silly little girl, anything's a purse if you want it to be. I feel like that could be a good motto for life. Also, I just love the drama with which I feel like he's really painting a picture. He's taking me someplace here. I feel myself in the meeting room with Mr. Michael himself and just feeling his ennui, his malaise, his boredom with all of the typical pitch ideas. And the idea of trapdooring someone if they're too boring. I just feel like I'm right there in the scene with him.
Trapdoor button. It also comes in a crow option. After wiping away a singular tear, Michael notices that Nancy, the Nutcracker designer, is actually in the Halloween pitch room. Nancy turns around and goes, what if Nutcrackers aren't just for Christmas? And what if they wear felt hats? Michael takes a wad of cash out of his briefcase, chucks it at Nancy, hits her in the head. Michael goes, okay, I gotta take lunch soon. Rapid fire some pitches. Someone goes, crystals, but they're on sticks. Ron, the pumpkin designer, comes in with an armful of ceramic pumpkins. Then he goes, tricked you. They're made of fabric, you idiots. Michael starts maniacally laughing. A millennial designer's feeling the energy of the pitch room, right? She goes, riddle me this. What's more terrifying than a landline? Everyone goes, She takes something out from underneath her desk and goes, a landline with an attitude. Don't you dare. Everyone's applauding and cheering. A Gen Z intern walks in from out of the shadows and goes, wait, what's a landline? Michael looks at her, grasps his chest, shaking. He hits the floor. Meeting's over. Here's what I think is happening in the...
So with Halloween actually not too far away at this point, I thought this would be appropriate to start dipping our toes into the fall spirit. You guys know me. I mean, if you watch my videos on a regular basis, you know that I am one of those dedicated fall girls, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the gloom. I'm so excited for the leaves. Oh, so anyway, with fall around the corner, I thought this would be a fun time to dip our toes into the Halloween spirit, you know? And definitely check this guy out. This was really funny. Truly a performer. Okay, so I don't know how many of you follow Gabby Windy. Hold on. No. Damn. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it paused before it... see, do you see what's happening? I pause it quickly and then it goes again. So anyway, I'm doing my best here. Okay, so do you guys remember who Gabby Windy is? She was on the Bachelor, and she was part of Clayton Eckert's season, and you know that was one of the most like dramatic rose ceremonies ever. Yeah, and I won't get into it. But she was like the best contestant that season, and she's gone on to like really be successful, and she is such a character. She does a podcast, and every time all of her reels from her podcast are this with her sunglasses on and going off on something. And I feel like it could be an inner monologue for me, for, you know, and my fellow introverts, my fellow homebodies who just don't like to leave the apartment or house. I think this will resonate with you too. Yeah, I love her. And again, I feel like this is like the inner monologue of the average introvert who doesn't want to go outside. Oh.
Respite at home because I refuse to neglect myself. And yeah, I'd rather be there 1000% of the time, but I understand sometimes I must leave, they say. I don't really think like that. I'll tell you one thing, I don't have to be anywhere after dark. My fun is in my own bed with my own TV and my own face wash, followed by my own special potions. Skincare is my hobby and fashion is my passion. These are the things I want to be doing, not staying out late. Nothing good happens after midnight. And even if it does, you won't remember it the next day. I know I will not have another French 75 and then make the journey to Brooklyn at 10 p.m. It's never going to happen. I need rest and rest.
That just resonated so much to me. Speaking of like my 20s and the, you know, hot mess pictures that I showed you earlier, like back then I mean, if you live in New York, you know what it's like. The night starts at like 10 p.m. My friends and I would get together in my apartment in New York and pregame, and then we wouldn't leave the apartment until like midnight, and then we would go out to bars until like 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. My life is opposite, or my opposite is life now. My life is opposite of that now. As a woman in her 30s, my bedtime is at 8 o'clock p.m. every night. Maybe 9 p.m. if I'm feeling crazy. But I am tired. I'm so tired. Let me know if you relate. Please don't tell me I'm alone. I know you guys are going to relate to this in the comments. Just it's being an introvert and a homebody, but also being in my 30s, and I already did the crazy party thing in my 20s. Now I'm just tired. Now I just want to snuggle with Helo and go to bed at 8 p.m. So anyway, I loved you guys should follow Gabby Windy. She is so funny. She does this sort of shtick a lot, and her mind just works in this really beautiful, unique way. The way she talks is really like, I need rest and respite at home. Yep, could be reading my own thoughts, just with a cooler vocabulary. Okay, finally, I wanted to cap this off with a beautiful townhome in New York. You're gonna love this. This is so pretty. This is one of those, like, you know, it's not affordable for like 99% of people, but I personally love seeing these old homes. This is an example, to go back to basically the thesis statement of this video. This is an example of what homes used to look like, how homes used to be built, rather than these like modern builder grade beige boxes that are sprouting up everywhere. Okay. And I think I can play the audio. I'm gonna have to mute it if there's music.
Told this house is brimming with historical architectural details. Let's find out. Built in 1841, the magic starts right at the door, which is perfect just the way it is, but check out this actual doorbell. Perhaps the biggest factor here is that while the home is in
It kills me. It kills me how pretty it was. I didn't pause it at the right time, but you guys saw it, the archway and the molding, the detail. Oh my god. Also, I love this rug. I just I wish I could live in a place like this. Oh.
in fact almost 200 years old, all the original details are here, with additions that have been added over the years.
Look how crazy this is. Not only is it a beautiful old home, but what the hell was going on here? What, like, this is so cool. It's sort of like your own little greenhouse, your own little conservatory in the middle of New York. This is like, this is back when people used to do weird things for no good reason. This is beauty for beauty's sake. This is such a perfect example. It's not like the most practical use of space, but it's beautiful and it's cool and it's weird.
This home has been owned by one single family for over 100 years. They've maintained it meticulously, and they've added some really cool features along the way, like this greenhouse, which offers year-round indoor, outdoor living with these double doors that you can just open up. If you like hosting, you're gonna get a lot of use out of this. Now, the lay of the land. You've got a nice sized yard, you've got that greenhouse, now the lay of the land. So you've got a really nice sized yard, that greenhouse, and then 2 floors of bedrooms above that parlor level and your kitchen on the ground floor. Now, as you can see, next door added square footage. There is square footage that you can add. Don't do what they did. This is stunning just the way it is, and I'm sure there's a way to add some square footage if you need some extra bedrooms, but keep this, come on. I mean, you've got those gorgeous window pane doors, sunlight, and year-round use of this semi-outdoor space. Ground level, so entrance there. The home obviously needs some upgrades, but you can upgrade it.
Love a good copper pan display moment. Always love that.
While keeping some of the features that you've got, like even this copper set is the original set. This is not staging. This is the original cast iron oven, the original tile floors. You've got a second entrance over here, a really cute little bathroom. Look at these tiles. A little dining area, this mantle. The list goes on and on. We are in the heart of the West Village. Location doesn't get better. Original window shutters, tall ceilings, all original moldings and staircases, and 2 more levels of bedrooms. Bedroom facing the rear, mantle, shaving sink, the original one, bedroom facing the front, 10-foot ceilings. A stunning home with stunning windows, stunning details, on a stunning block in the best location in New York City.
That location is so incredible. In the West Village, everything looks like this. Like these buildings, like the whole neighborhood looks like this. It is so beautiful. I lived in the East Village in New York, and I didn't really find myself in the West Village very much, even though it was like right there. But anytime I did go to the West Village, oh, it just almost feels like its own personality. I mean, every neighborhood in New York feels like its own personality. And oh, I just love the buildings in the West Village. Like it's just so, and there's so many trees too. It's like tree lined blocks. It's just this view, even though the view is of other buildings, it's beautiful other buildings and trees. So I would love this view.
What do you think? I'm told this house is brimming with his.
So those were my tea time choices for us. Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments, what did you think of those? And let me know if you want me to keep, sort of curating, some little tea time content pieces to share with you. I mean, I feel like I'm just gonna do it because it's really fun. I think about when I'm browsing on Instagram, I think about like wanting, like, what could I share with my audience? And I get excited by the idea of being like, oh my God, they would love this, they would love this, So cheers. Any Free Ren fans, let me know that in the chat as well. Free Ren is such a cozy anime. I highly recommend it. It's like fairy tale cozy anime. And anyway. All right. So that is the end of the presentation. Now I'm going to go back to full screen. All right. So let me know in the chat, what did you think? What do you think about this format? I might add more segments if I can think of some. So like in an ideal world, it will be a main topic and then like a tea time like we just did. So sharing random reels and content that I think you would like. And then maybe something else, or maybe a couple other segments. I don't know. Yeah, let me, if you have any thoughts, if you have any ideas of like the kind of content that you would like to see in a live, then let me know. I'm still in the process of figuring out what these lives could look like. And yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. At the end of the day, my goal is to be entertaining, hopefully, and for you to just have a nice cozy Sunday morning with me. Maybe, have me on while you're cleaning or while you're, playing a video game or just doing something. Like, I think what's great about longer form content is it's great to multitask too. So that's kind of how I envision this, is me being on in the background on a cozy Sunday morning. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas. Before I end this, I'll just pop back into the comments. Okay. Kite Teresa says, love tea time. Yay. I'm so glad. I do too. I think it's, kind of a nice little, like I said, palette cleanser for the end of the video, especially when I'm talking about, the downfall of society for 2 hours. I think it's good to have a nice little tea time afterwards to make ourselves feel a little bit better. Again, I'm sorry for the dead air. This is something I'm still kind of learning how to do, is like read comments while being live. It's not the best. Like, my brain is not the best at that. So pardon me. Oh, Quinn M asked an interesting question. What would you add that's weird to your home and not social media coded, Steffi? Um, that's a really good question. Uh, I think that it all comes down to your personality. I mean, this is just kind of one of the, I guess, core tenets of my channel, which is to mix in personality pieces. So mix in things that represent something you love. So I use these examples all the time with my apartment. I'm obviously going for like a moody boho vibe in this space, but when I have little moments of personality, like my Death Note manga on my coffee table and my One Piece manga pillow on my couch, and then in my first studio when I had like Fiona Apple and Poe and Beck, like black and white prints of them on the wall. Those are examples of things that represent what I love. So I don't think it's necessarily about aiming for weird, like for the sake of being weird. I think we're all just intrinsically weird. And just by incorporating things that you love, you know, your interests, your passions, your hobbies, the things that you geek out about, that will inherently add a level of weirdness to an otherwise just like stylish apartment. You know, it's not just about style, it's about personality as well. So, and I'm actively working on that right now. Like I've said before, I'm very much still in process with this apartment and still figuring out what I'm doing. It doesn't feel complete at all right now. And one of the things that's lacking, aside from my little manga moments in my apartment, what it's lacking is the personality, because I mean, I want to paint my walls and ceiling green very soon. I have the color samples, by the way, like the actual paint. I ordered 3 paint samples that I'm going to swatch on the wall within the next couple days. So once I have my walls repainted, then I'll be able to like actually feel creative and take some action. So yeah, I'm very much in process with it. Kelly says steampunk would be good. Yeah, I would like to do a steampunk video. A lot of you are suggesting aesthetics like Gothic Victorian, steampunk, and I think I've seen a couple others. So those I would more likely do those as video topics, not necessarily for lives. Although, you know, with this newer format, like I'm often going to sort of expand upon an existing video like I did with Art Nouveau. So, you know, Victorian, steampunk, anything else will get their own video before I do a live about them, if that makes sense, because those are ripe for like a full blown, like Moda Misfit video. You know what I mean? So, but I guess like once I do the video, then I can just expand upon it in the live format, you know? So Queen of the Doom Scroll says, I think that kind of eclecticism is the antidote to sad beige. I'd like advice about how to make it look reasonably cohesive. Yeah, I agree that eclecticism is definitely like on the opposite end of the spectrum of sad beige. I would also lump that in with maximalism and boho. You know, the styles that really focus creative expression above restraint. It's, you know, sad beige and to an extent minimalism are about restraint. I prefer the indulgence, you know? And as far as making things look cohesive, I just touched on this in my last video about with studio apartment tips. The thing about like my studio apartment focused videos is they can apply to any type of, really any room, because at the end of the day, a studio is just simply a single room. So all of my tips can apply to like any space. And something that I definitely stand by, and pardon me if I'm a broken record, if you watch all of my videos, you probably, you've heard me say this a million times, but I really do think it's the key. If you want to go for an eclectic or maximalist space, then a cohesive color palette is pretty much the key. So, and kind of limiting it. Again, this, I said this in the video, but this is not a rule. You can, have at it with color, of course. It's just harder. A simple way to do the eclectic look with, lots of objects around, is to limit the color palette. It just instantly makes things cohesive. You could have all kinds of objects, all kinds of textures, all kinds of things going on in a single room. But if you unite it all with a limited color palette, then that just, it's like insta cohesion, so that's like my sort of biggest tip for making anything cohesive, is just limit your color palette, unless you want to challenge yourself with lots of colors. It's just that's not as simple. Stash of Wizard Trash says, a fun trick to do is pick your favorite item you own and pull out the colors and textures from that item to look for or make your own pieces. That is an excellent tip. Excellent tip. Yes. That's the thing. You have, I assume you already have certain things that you love, whether it's a piece of clothing or a piece of decor or a piece of artwork. Find that one thing you love and think about, why do I love this? And like Stash of Wizard Trash said, think about what you can pull from it on a bigger scale. You have examples of your style already. Like, just look in your closet. You chose the clothes that you have in your closet for a reason. And you can sort of gather data from your closet and the pieces of decor that you already own. So just kind of break down like what's going on with these pieces of decor and clothing and so on. What colors, what textures, what subject matter, and why do I love it, And then just figure out ways to harness those observations and find those things in other pieces, if that makes sense. Very, very good tip, Stash of Wizard Trash. She said, Stash of Wizard Trash says, I came out of mom decorating. Same. My mom can attest to that. I came out screaming and criticizing the decor of the hospital room. No, seriously, I had a horrible, I had a very awful birth. It like could perhaps explain a lot about my anxiety that I function with as an adult. It was not, I was not happy to come out. Let's just say I was not ready. And I guarantee I was not impressed with the aesthetic of the hospital. But it turned out okay because my mom and I spent my childhood decorating together. So we were very, very much on the same page in that sense. I am the way I am largely because my mom and I just loved going to Pier 1 together, Pottery Barn, just shopping for things. It was very cultivated in my childhood, I would say. So anyway, I think this is a good place to end. We went for a couple hours. That's good. I'm shooting for a couple hours. I mean, I would love to go for like 3 because a lot of my favorite like podcasts and content creators and whatnot will go on, like they'll go live and they'll be on for like 3 hours. and then I can just have them on in the background, and I'm like cozied up and, you know, editing video or doing whatever the hell, playing a video game. um, and I love just the length of it. For my brain, I love that because it eliminates decision fatigue. It means that I can just have one video on for a long time and I won't have to choose another video. And also I just like long things. Like I like long things. That sounded great, Steph. This is not an after dark podcast, Steph. Oh my God, my brain needs to chill. So yeah, I like long form things. I like, for example, I prefer television shows to movies because I like how long a TV show is. I want my entertainment to be like a long-term relationship, not a one-night stand, you know? So, so that's just my personal taste. I know a lot of people are probably like, I'm not going to watch a 3-hour video or even a 2-hour video. And I get that, but I operate very differently. So that being said, I feel good that we went for a couple hours today. You know, depending on whether I think of other segments to add and just sort of expand upon this format, it might get longer. But yeah, basically let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the replay. What would you like to see? What would you find entertaining? What do you think would be worth your time on a Sunday morning? You know, what would be entertaining? That's really the goal of this at the end of the day, is I just want to be entertaining. So yeah, let me know and have a lovely rest of your Sunday. And yeah, that's it. I still need to figure out a good way to dismount from these lives without being awkward, but you know, we'll get there. So have a good rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next time.